Hiya, I'm back, and today I wanted to talk about all of these videos that I keep seeing about what I wish I knew when I was. So I see age ones, like what I wish I knew at 20 instead of 40, or what I wish I knew when I was a teenager. And I've also seen ones like what I wish I knew before I was a parent, or what I wish I knew before I was pregnant. A million different what I wish I knews. And whilst I recognize the value that people are trying to add, it's an opportunity to give life advice. I actually don't, on a fundamental level, agree with these videos because I don't wish I knew anything at any point of my life before now. And the reason I don't wish I knew anything differently is that if I had been different, or if I had known different, I wouldn't have had the experiences that I've had that have got me to where I am. So even though I've had some experiences that I didn't enjoy, that were really uncomfortable, I think everything from bullying to breakups to arguments, difficult conversations, challenging situations, fear, bad decisions, heartache, grief, so many of these things have contributed to who I am now, and I wouldn't be who I am now if I hadn't had them all. So even though I did some stupid stuff when I was a teenager, I don't wish I knew any different, and I don't wish I did any different. And even though there are some things in my life that perhaps from the outside you'd think, well, I would wish that didn't happen to me, I think we can all agree that the really hard things that we go through are what shape us and what make us into the person that we are today. And actually, it's through difficult things that we grow. So for that reason, I wouldn't change them. And I wanted to make this video all about what I hope I'll know, because I think hope is joyful. And I always want to give a message of joy on this channel, and try to live in joy myself and channel that energy and stay high frequency and joyful. And I think hope is the last to die, isn't it? So in this crazy world with all of the stuff that we have going on and all of the stuff that's thrown at us, if we want to take it in every day, hope is really what gets us through. The hope that it's all going to be okay in the end, the hope that things will work themselves out, the hope that maybe the things that we think are going to happen won't happen. Whatever it is, hope is the key. So with that in mind, here are the things that I hope I'll know in 10 years' time. So the first big one is how to let go of judgment and expectation. This is a huge one, and I think it covers so many things. So first of all, judgment of myself. So comparison. Online, when you're a creator, it's really easy to look at what other people are doing and think they're doing it better, or to feel like people are going to judge you, especially if you're being authentic, then they're judging you and your real self, and that's difficult to deal with. Judgment of even the little things, you know, what you say, what you look, what you wear, what you look like, loads of things. And that doesn't just go for content creation, that goes, of course, for real life. So first and foremost, I hope that in the future version of myself, I will be able to completely let that go. And I don't just want to let judgment go for myself. I also want to let expectation or judgment of others completely go. So I try not to judge others anyway. I don't spend my time gossiping or, you know, commenting on what other people look like or what they do. I think everybody should just do their own thing and enjoy their lives and live and let live. But for sure, I find myself having expectations of other people, especially people perhaps who are close to me, where maybe I judge the way they are doing things in their life and find it really difficult to let the expectation of what I think they should do or maybe could do better go. And maybe I tell myself that it comes from a place of wanting the best for them, and it comes from a good place. But actually, the bottom line is it's judgment. And although I recognize that, I haven't been able to completely let that go. And I definitely hold expectations sometimes in some situations towards some people. And then I end up disappointed, because if you have expectations of other people, you inevitably will be disappointed. You can't control anybody else, what they do, what they think, or how they react. The only things you can control are what you think, what you do, and how you react. So by reacting with no expectation, I think I would set myself up for more success and less disappointment. I recognize that not everybody should do things the same way. I don't want everybody to be the same. And I don't think that I'm doing things necessarily the right way, or that people should do things the way that I'm doing things. But objectively, sometimes people are doing things in a way that perhaps a large majority of people in society would see as wrong. Still there, I think we have to let go of the expectation and the judgment and just let those people take their own path and live their own life. And that's something I'm not there yet with, but I'm working on. And so I hope I'll have it in my future. Another big thing that I hope I'll have in the future version, or the 10-year down the line version of myself, is a calm, cool reaction to anything. So I don't want to think that this is out of my reach, because it's not in my typical personality or way of reacting. But I think because reactions are such a huge part of what we have, I would love to take things that might be considered scary, challenging, difficult, fear-provoking, and take them in my stride. So my husband is my utmost idol in this respect. I have huge admiration for him in the way that he reacts to things. And what I mean by that is that even the really big stuff that life has thrown at him, he is human. He has that human reaction initially, but he can so quickly just move on and put it behind him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is not only the reaction in the moment, but I want to let go of dwelling. So I try to do this. I try not to dwell. I try not to overthink. I try not to think about things too much, because I know that that's not healthy for my brain. And I'm working on rewiring and working on meditative states and allowing nothing into my mind. But I definitely still do a lot of overthinking, and my reaction sometimes is not one that I am happy with when I go home, and then I maybe think about it and dwell on it and wish I'd done it differently. I don't know if you ever do that, where you say something or you react to a situation in a certain way, and then later when you go home and think about it and maybe feel slightly differently when you're out of the fire of the moment, you think, damn, I wish I would have said that differently or done that differently, because if I had the chance again, this is what I'd do. Well, there's no point, because there's no point thinking about that or dwelling on that, because the moment's passed, and all you can do is change your future interactions with that person or with that situation. So when I'm talking about my husband, I mean, he lost his parents, both of his parents, within 6 months of each other. And his father had been sick, and we'd kind of been expecting it, but his mum was a total shock. And he was close to both his parents. He loved them both dearly, and they were a big part of our lives. And to lose them like that was just one of the hardest things that we have to go through, to lose your parents, right? And he suffered, my husband suffered, and he allowed himself his grief, especially I think in the moment when we were finding out that his mum was really sick, and we lost her within a matter of a week. So it was a quick turnaround, and within that week he definitely suffered and allowed his emotions to come out. But then he so quickly pulled himself together and decided to react to this huge life-changing event with determination for the future, admiration for his mum's life, and just pure love for us, for his family that he has to go on for. And I just think that's amazing. He was so, so strong in that situation, and that gave me strength and showed our children how death doesn't have to be a really long, drawn out, negative grieving process. It can be something that we feel and we let everything go, and then we move on from. And obviously you never fully move on from grief. I don't think you ever recover from losing a person like a parent or a child, somebody very, very close to you. I'm not suggesting that grief should be short-lived. It lasts forever. And if you asked my husband, I'm sure he'd say that he's still in grief. He just manages it day to day really, really well. Maybe a better example is that we were talking about artificial intelligence the other day. and how it's, big. Everybody's talking about it at the moment. It's growing so fast. It's definitely going to change our lives. It already has changed our lives. And my husband's work is on the computer. And so it's likely that within certainly the next decade, but probably much less, AI is going to take over what he does. And we're not sure what that's going to look like for us. So what he's going to do, how his skills are going to apply. And that's not just true for my husband. That's true for obviously millions, everybody, certainly millions of us. Our lives are going to change and we don't know what that's going to look like. And that huge uncertainty that comes with that. I think he spent maybe a day or two after he'd listened to a few different podcasts about the topic, just thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do about this, and feeling worried and thinking about it and turning it over and over in his head. And then we were speaking about it yesterday, and he was saying he'd listened to another podcast, and I was saying to him, don't let that bring your frequency down though. You don't want to live in fear. Stop listening to it. If it's affecting you negatively, don't listen to it anymore. And he said, I'm over it. I'm not affected by it. I don't feel fear of it. We're all in the same boat. We'll find a way, and it is what it is. I just find it really interesting. And I just think when you have, I know that the responsibility for him, the financial responsibility of our family, and the fact that his job is what keeps us going, and the fact that if he lost it, it would be enormously challenging for us to find a way to pay our mortgage and pay our bills and do all of the things that we do. So the fact that he has taken a day or two to digest that information and play with it in his head, and has then decided there's no point worrying about it, just don't dwell on it, don't worry, be happy, is so admirable, in my opinion. I tend to get lost in the fear of those things. So if I listen to a podcast or two about AI and they're telling me that my life's going to change and I'm not going to know what to do, and what about what my children will do, and how will we deal with that, and what job will we get, and all of these questions start coming up, and then I can get lost in that really easily, and it could stay with me for a long time, for weeks, if I start indulging in it. So in the future version of myself, I hope that I will be able to act calmly and coolly to whatever life throws at me, instead of being a little bit more hot-headed, which is maybe my natural way, and choose to dwell on things less. Because at the end of the day, worry gets you absolutely nowhere. It's just manifestation of negativity instead of manifestation of positivity. So I'm working on it. And the last one that I was thinking about is, I hope in 10 years, or in my future version of myself, I am able to let go of things more easily. I know that we would probably call it attachment issues now, with all of our knowledge about psychology and how that works. I definitely have this kind of attachment style to my friendships, my parenting, my relationship, everything in my life, where I like to kind of attach like a mollusk to the people who attract me and who make me feel good, and then I find it really hard to let them go. And that's true for situations, as for things as well that I enjoy. So if I get a project in my head that I want to see through, I get really attached to it, and it's really difficult. It has been really difficult for me to let it go if maybe it's not working, or it looks like the direction might be changing. So I recognize in me this desire to cling to the things that are dear to me, or that make me feel good, or that I've decided I want to achieve. And maybe that's not always in my best interest, and thinking about maybe what people who are further down the line in their lives might say to me, I would like to be able to let that go. Also with the idea that my children, in 10 years from now, will be flying the nest and doing their own thing, or certainly nearly at that stage. And the thought is a little bit daunting, because I'm still in this phase where I'm really important to them and I'm a huge part of their life. And I know that it's rapidly changing day by day, and I'll become less and less important. And that's not to say that then my importance will disappear. Of course it won't. All adults love and need their parents as well. So I still love and need my mum and dad. So I know that that won't disappear, but of course it changes. The amount of time that I will get to spend with them will change enormously. The importance they will give my opinion and my maybe ideas for them will change enormously. And just, my daily interactions and my day-to-day will change enormously. And I hope I will be able to let that go with grace and learn to love the new version of our relationship and the new version of my life. And I hope that if projects don't work out or if things change, that I learn better to just let it go and just go with the flow of life rather than attaching myself to outcomes that I have decided are the ones I want. So I don't know if any of that resonates with you and you feel like you have any of those things, and maybe if you're an older listener, then you can give me some life advice below and tell me whether those things sound crazy and unrealistic or like I should know them already. I don't know, but my message is really one of joy, because I would like to say that don't waste time on regret. Don't spend time thinking about what you wish you knew or what you wish you'd done or hadn't done, because that's just wasted energy. What you can do is spend time hoping and wishing and thinking for the future. And with that thinking and hoping and wishing, you can take action and hopefully make it happen. So anything that you hope for is within reach if you just decide what it is and start taking small steps towards it. Okay, I hope that's helpful and I hope you have a beautiful day. See you next time.